Welcome everybody. So just starting off sitting on our feet, so it's just going to stretch off the front of your shins. This can be quite uncomfortable, so just grin and bear it, so breathe through it. Also just come out of it if you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and you can also go back into it. So we are focusing on lower limbs, so we're going to be going more quad and hamstring, and there's going to be a little bit of back again involved in this week's stretch. Okay, so from here we're going to increase the stretch on our quads. So all we're going to do is we're going to creep our hands backwards and just lift our hips up slightly. Now some people might be more flexible than others, so if you are comfortable you can creep your hands back a little bit more, and you can even lower yourself onto your forearms. And if not, just stay upright to as far as you can just feel that stretch in the quads. Good, and we're going to creep ourselves forward, just going to release that stretch, and then coming into that child's pose. And then walk yourself back up. We're going to go back into that quad stretch. So walking your hands back. Maybe you can get a little bit more range of motion here. So creeping yourself back a little bit more. If you want to, you can push your hips a little bit higher. And then walk yourself back up. We're going to get into a low lunge. So hands out in front. When you can, from kneeling, you're going to step 1 foot forward, and then you're going to lift that knee off the ground. Okay, so you're pushing the floor away with that back foot, so you're onto your tiptoes. We're just holding that there. And then if you can from here, we're just going to change our body position slightly. So we're going to lift our chest up, looking up a little bit more. Keep that knee off the ground if you can. And then we're going to go into a rebound. So we're pushing back with that front leg, trying to straighten it as much as we can. We can use our hands to stabilize us, and we're letting that back curl round. Okay, so separating those shoulder blades. And then we're going to go back into that low lunge. Again, lift that body position up, so bring those shoulders together, looking up towards the sky. And then push back again. Separate those shoulder blades, really lean into that front leg. You should feel this all down the back of the leg. And then put that knee down. We're going to change legs. Okay, so leaning yourself forward, propping yourself up onto those back toes, knee off the ground. in that low lunge position. Legs should be in between your hands. And then from here, we're going to lift the chest, look up towards the sky, pinch those shoulders together. And then push back with that leg, trying to get it as straight as you can. Still keeping up onto those toes at the back, on the back leg. Coming forward again into that low lunge, looking up to the sky, pull that chest forward. And then push back into that rebound. And then lower yourself down. So we are going to go into pigeon pose. So we're going to swap legs. So we're going to go into that original leg that you just lunged with. That is going to go at a 90-degree angle if you can get it. Okay, so knee towards wrist and then ankle towards other wrist. And then from here, you're going to slide that back leg away from you, and then you're going to sit yourself into that pose. Okay. If you can, try and get your bum as close to the ground as you can. If it's really uncomfortable, you can prop something underneath your bum, like a towel or a cushion. From here, we're going to lower ourselves down onto our forearms, or if you can go all the way, just lower your whole body over that front leg. And we're just going to creep our hands over to the side. So if your right leg's out in front, you're going to creep yourself over to the right hand side. If your left leg's out in front, you're going to creep your hands over to the left. And walk yourself up. We're going to swap legs. Take a little bit of time to organise yourself. And drop yourself down either to those forearms or all the way. And then walk your hands over to the side. So if left leg's out in front, walk your hands over to the left. And come out of that one. We are going to go onto our bums, straight onto your backs. You're going to leave one leg so your foot's planted on the floor. You're going to interlock your fingers and they're going to wrap behind your hamstring. From there, you're going to drive that heel up towards the sky, try and straighten the leg as much as you can. And then to apply a little bit of stretch to the hamstring, you're going to pull that leg in towards you. So the way Tom's doing it is actually more difficult. If your other leg is down a little bit more, you're going to have a little bit more of a stretch. If that is too much, you can raise the other leg up and have it bent flat on the floor. Keep trying to draw that leg into you. So every time you breathe out, think about pulling that leg a little bit closer toward your chest. What we're going to do from here is we're going to cross this leg right over the other, like you would cross your legs if you're sitting on a chair. And then what I want you to do is I want you to take your, like an iron cross, take your knees over to one side. So if your right leg is on top, you're going to drift your body over to the left, trying to keep both shoulders on the ground. This one's really good for the back. If you're not feeling it so much, you can always apply a little bit of pressure to the legs and pull yourself round a little bit more. Still trying to keep both shoulders on the ground. And drift yourself back up so you're in neutral. We're going to swap legs. So interlock those fingers again, grab behind the hamstring of the opposite leg, pull those toes down towards you, drive that heel up towards the sky. Keep drawing that leg in towards your chest. All right, cross that leg right over the other. And then from here, if left leg is on top, we drift our body position over to the right hand side. Keep both shoulders flat on the floor. And detangle. So you're going to come up to a seated position. We're going to go for a V-sit. So we're taking our legs out wide. What you're trying to do is keep both legs flat on the floor. So just take it to the width that you can still keep both feet on the floor, both legs on the floor. You're pointing your toes up towards the sky, so pulling them in towards you. Okay, that's going to create a stretch in itself. You're going to have a nice flat back, pull those shoulders back, and then you're just going to creep your hands forward. Okay, you won't be able to move very much to start off with. You take a big breath in, and when you breathe out, you're going to completely fold your back, and then you're going to let your hands creep forward even more. Okay, so take those hands as far as they'll let you go, and then you should feel that stretch all at the back of the legs, in the hamstrings, and a little bit in the calves. You can keep trying to creep those hands a little bit further. And then walk your hands up so you're back in seated. What we're going to do is going to take our right leg, we're going to bend that leg, put that foot so it's flat onto the middle of the thigh. And then from here you're going to fold yourself forward, and if you can grab on underneath the foot. If not, you can just use the floor or hold on to your shin. You release off that foot, we're going to swap sides. Right leg out in front, bending that left leg flat into that right thigh, and then from here letting that body position fold right over, using underneath the foot or the shin just to pull yourself in that little bit further. Lovely, walk yourself up. So we're going to go into a standing pose now. So come up onto your feet. We're going to go wide stance, okay? From here you can take your arms right up above your head, okay? Hands together. Very yoga-esque. And again, we want a nice flat back. So just like you do with your walkouts, we're going to send those hips back. And as we do, we're still maintaining that tightness within the upper back. Okay, and reaching towards the floor. Back nice and flat. If you can't touch the floor, that is fine. If you can, that's good too. Okay, we're going to maintain this position with our legs, but we're just going to let that back now be floppy, okay? Let it hang over. And then you're just going to walk your hands over to the right. So again, you can use that that shin or your foot just to grab onto, just to apply that little bit more pressure. You should feel a stretch in the back of the leg. And then we're wandering over to the other side. And then walk your hands back to the middle. So from here, what I want you to do is put both hands on your knees, and then we're going to lower our hips and lift our chest. So we're in a squat. Okay, so you can start pushing those legs outwards. Okay, that's going to give you a stretch of the inside of the legs. And now we're going to dip the left shoulder down. So keep the hands where they are, but you're dipping the left shoulder down to the middle, pushing that leg away. Hold that there. And then come back to the middle. We are now dipping our shoulder to the right. And gently come out of that one. The last one we're going to do is we're going to go into a step forward. So your left leg is going to be forward, right foot's going to be turned out ever so slightly. From here, you're going to try and keep a straight leg on the front, on that front leg, and then you're just hinging that body position over. Again, if you can keep that flat back, perfect. You can use your shin for support for that balance. And you can feel this even more if you start trying to pull that left hip back. And walk yourself about that one. We're going to swap legs. So right leg out in front, left leg behind, straighten that front leg, flat back, and then hinge from those hips. keep drawing that hip back, trying to neutralize those hips so they're in a straight line. And gently come at that. We're going to go neutral stance with our feet, okay? So you can either have your feet together or just slightly apart. And then again, we're going to hinge from the hips, let our body just hang over into that forward fold position. You can either just let yourself hang, or you can just rock your hips gently from right to left, pushing your weight into each hip. And then as you come out of this one, I want you thinking about rolling each vertebrae up one by one. So shoulders are going to be the last thing to come up. Big shrug of the shoulders, and then roll them right down your back. Back and down. Big breath in and out, and you are done. Stretched.
Bravo.